On today's Toy Spot, we're going to be having a look at DC Universe, Wave 2, Figure 3, Harlequin. Now, I know, granted, it's been a substantially long time since I've done DC Universe figures, and I actually received several emails and messages asking me when I was going to continue doing my DC Universe figures. So let's get back on track. Let's not delay any longer. Let's get back into doing the DC Universe figures. I figured of all the ones in this set, one of the ones I really wanted to get out and opened first was the Harlequin here. Before we actually open up the package, get the figure out, let's get a look at it. Let's get a quick package, quick look at the package. There we go. As you can see, the package is very similar. It's no different really than any other DC Universe. The only difference really being is that Harlequin's eyes, as you can see, are featured along the bottom. It says, includes your collect and connect figure piece. And in this figure, you get the very substantially large Gorilla Grodd torso. On the back of the packaging, the other figures in this wave, aside from the Harlequin here, is that we have the blue Superman with also a red Superman variant. We have black Manta. We have Firestorm, and we also have Aquaman. A very interesting wave because there are several figures that have variants. As I already mentioned, the Superman has both the featured blue Superman costume as well as the red. The Aquaman has the, I think the camera can see it here, the short-haired version. And also there is a longer-haired version. The Firestorm comes in both the modern Firestorm as well as what I consider the more recognizable Firestorm from the more 80s style. One interesting thing as well is when this set first came out and when I actually picked up these figures, I picked up all of them, including both variants of the Superman. I only picked up the short-haired variant of Aquaman. The Firestorm actually was not available in the modern interpretation. This figure was released later on, but you know what? We'll get into that as I'm actually doing the reviews of these individual figures. Read up on Harlequin says, an Arkham Asylum psychiatrist assigned to treat the Joker, Dr. Harley Quinn, was instead driven mad by the Clown Prince of Crime and helped him escape. Nearly as insane as the Joker himself, Harlequin is a violent and unpredictable felon who will do anything to prove her love and loyalty to the Joker, her beloved. First appearance of Harlequin is Batman Harley #1. Real name Dr. Harley Quinn, occupation former psychiatrist, professional criminal, base of operations Gotham City, special abilities above average intelligence, strength, and stamina, hand-to-hand combat skills, gymnastics skills, wicked sense of humor. Would you necessarily put wicked sense of humor as a special ability? Apparently you would, and apparently they have. One thing as well with Harlequin, one of the only few characters whose first appearance is actually in a cartoon. Harlequin's existence was non-existent up till the Batman animated series, very similar to Livewire from the Superman animated series. But let's not wait any longer. Let's get this package open up, and we will get a closer look at Harlequin. So don't go anywhere, guys. Alright, she's out of the package. Let's get a good look at the figure. The figure as a whole is pretty good, and I'll give you guys just a detail. Let's give you a turnaround of the figure here. The figure as a whole is pretty good. I have a couple of problems with the figure. Some are small, and there's one that I really can't overlook. I'll let you guys figure out what that one thing is. I won't tell you right away, and for anyone out there that can guess it, maybe I'll give you a little star. Won't be a really real star. I'll give you like a little virtual gold star. Now, one thing about the figure is I find that the coloring, the black, the red, it's a very dingy color, and if you kind of compare it over, and I guess they've improved since then, if you compare it over to the DC Universe figures released now, the reds, even like on Deadman in the, I believe, Wave 11, in the Deadman, if you were to compare reds to the Harlequin here, his red is a very vibrant red. Harlequin, on the other hand, though, suffers from what I had problems with the DC Superheroes figures, is that the red, or at least the colors as a whole, are very dingy. The red, the black, yes, you know, they're decent coloring, and the paint's pretty decent, but it would have been nice if the colors were a little richer than what they are. I find that just like the red, more so than the black, but I find the red is just a very dark, dingy red. It would have been nice if it was a bright red. But the one thing I have, the one problem that I have with this figure, is that aside from the black, the red, she also has white. She has white in her sleeves, she has white in her collar, and she also has white on her hat, on the pom-poms here. And I'm surely somebody's going to be yelling out, well, hey, she's also got a white face. No, no, no. No, my friend, she actually doesn't have a white face. Her face is a bluish white. And I'm surely somebody at Mattel should have seen this. And I don't know if it was their decision to make her face this bluish white, but it really takes away from the figure. At no point has Harlequin ever really had a bluish face. I mean, surely we all know that her face is white. Why this figure doesn't have a white face, I really have no idea. But that's my one problem with this figure, aside really from the overall paint. Would have been nice if it was brighter. But the one thing I have problems overlooking is the blue face. And I know a couple of other reviewers have said the same thing about this figure. Is why they chose this color for the face, I really don't know. I really don't know. Now, in the way of her articulation, she has an articulated head, a ball-jointed head, so you get lots of movement. She has a shoulder-jointed articulation. She can swivel at the bicep, and she can bend at the elbow. She can also turn at the hand. Now, I find the hand doesn't seem to want to give very well. I almost worry with some of these female figures that certain parts, and especially the one part more so is this joint right here. If you're not really careful, this part will break off. I almost worry the same thing with the hand. I mean, the hand does give and the hand does move, but I am concerned though with the bicep joint. This one's a little tighter than this one, but she also has a ball jointed, or not ball joint, but she has a joint in her mid-torso. You'll see though it's very loose on this particular figure, which is a bit of a shame. She has an articulated waist, which you can swivel. You can move the leg freely back and forth. You can bend the leg certainly out as well because of the joint on the side. You can bend at the knee. You can also rotate the thigh, and you can also bend at the toe. So standard articulation, certainly nothing different about this figure. My other one problem with the figure is while the head sculpt is not too bad, I certainly prefer the DC Direct Nightfall Harlequin instead. It's got a much prettier face, I find, and I don't know. It could just be the blue that's setting me off on this sculpt on the face, but it's a shame though that I think one is larger than the other, because I would almost swap heads on this figure with the DC Direct Harlequin. But there's the figure. Now, in the way of her accessories, she does come with a, is that a pop gun? A pop gun. It can be held in either hand. Now, the only downside though is I found when I was putting the gun in the red gloved hand, it didn't really want to hold. I mean, you can kind of just wedge it in there, but it didn't seem to want to hold very well. It certainly, she holds it a lot better in the other hand. She does also come with a mallet, which again fits all right, but I mean it doesn't. It certainly does keep falling out, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why you kind of have to keep it in this area where it's been taped and it's got the yellow. It seems to want to hold a little bit better, but as you can see by me dropping it just now, it does continue to fall out. The mallet itself, if I can just go pick it up here, if she wants to stay for a second, she'll lean against the monkey. And just lean against the monkey. We'll grab the mallet, and we'll have a look at the mallet itself. Now, the mallet's not bad. It certainly goes for a little more of a realistic look to it, but I think I prefer the mallet that the Joker came with from Wave 10 a little bit more. It could also be too that the yellow is offsetting it for me, and I'm not a fan of the color. I think when I have the Joker, or when I eventually get the Joker, I think I probably will put the green mallet in his hand, or in Harley Quinn's hand, because I think it probably suits her a little bit more. But she does also come with the mallet. The mentioned torso piece she also does include is the main torso of Gorilla Grodd. And if you ask me the verdict, I don't think the verdict's out yet on this particular figure. I've been vocal before that I think the figure is a little more realistic than what I want it to be, but I'll certainly get into that as I get this figure put together and I do a review of the separate figure. So, but needless to say, torso of monkey. She comes with a torso of a gorilla. And so now we'll put Gorilla Grodd to the side. The overall impression of Harlequin is not a bad figure. My biggest problem, though, is the coloring of the face. Overall, if the color was a little bit brighter and a little richer, I think I'd like this figure a lot more than what I do. Overall, I'd probably rate this figure at about a 6. Yes, it's not as high as I really should have rated it, but to me the paint is really what's doing this figure in, especially with the face. So there you have a toy spot on the very first review of DC Universe Series 2, or the Gorilla Grodd series, and that was the Harlequin. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Later.